I made this shit last. Burning down to the wake-up call, to the sun grows cold, to the making it down. Judgment is what defies us, so deep out just to ease your conscience. I'm crouching in past day, I fight why I can't run. Why? It's not all just what's the cause, free run.
I did for her, she kept taking me for granted and showed no mercy in fading me away. But that time has come and gone, now everything we need is in our hands. So draw a line in the sand and repeat after me.
I won't look back to what cannot be changed. I won't look back to what cannot be changed.
Plus 1 equals 3. Welcome to our very
my man here.
Oh my yeah. He is.
Oh my yay. Fight Club captain in the building.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for having me on.
This is the second member of the Bomaye Fight Club joining us in back-to-back week. Right down below, there he is, the muscle of the group, Mr. Thomas. Manager of 5150, and we are so honored that you've decided to join us here. He is Mr. Bud Heavy. How the hell are you doing, sir?
I'm living the dream, man. How about you guys?
So, you mean all 360 keep your face. Don't make it look pretty, but I'll spit it first. That's who I am. So.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is, please note. Please note.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Fools are calling and the odds seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me the storm is coming for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Know that I need you anyway.
And boom, just like that, it's Thursday night. You know what that means? It's party time, people. We're the Video Pros. I'm Bobby Munson. That man beside me, he's the man with the angelic voice. Here comes, he's Papa Smoke. Papa Smokes, how you doing, sir?
Ooh, that was a great introduction, Munson. Your energy is mirroring mine tonight.
Yeah, we're pumped up, and good thing, because it's going to take a lot of energy to be positive about the episode of MLW Fusion that we just encountered. But before we even get there, Papa Smokes, we're going to have to give a few shout outs. And first of all, look at this. We got a first time chatter, B_Carter_ Emmett. You are awesome. Thank you for stopping by. Always happy to see new people stopping in. Thank you for taking the time. And also, we got Chris Parrish, my Brushbuster brother. How you doing, sir? Glad to have you in the chat here tonight. Join us live. And, of course, Vassar69.
Yeah.
Konnichiwa, boys. And, as always, joining us, a wonderful dear friend of ours that's going to be joining us on February the 18th, live in Saskatoon, because Prairie Pro Wrestling presents Love is Dead, live in Saskatoon, Pop Smokes. It's going to be a great time. Auntie Wuji, we're going to be seeing you there as well, too. Hope you're doing wonderful. But yeah, exciting news just dropped today, February the 18th. That card for Prairie Pro Wrestling is coming out there, Pop Smokes.
Yeah, I'm absolutely pumped up for that. And we're looking forward to a cold February, but I know one night where the action's going to be hot just off Broadway at the Cosmo Hall.
It's going to be a good old time. But hey, in the meantime and in between time, we know why you guys came here. You came here to party with us and also talk a little MLW. So we're going to do our damnedest to get through this episode of MLW. Your own promo. Yes, indeedy. It's all excitement up in here. Everybody gets a big old shout out. And remember, give us a follow or subscribe. You see that $sign right there? That's going to get you a spin of the wheel. That's what we do up in here. That's the new thing coming from Mr. Money himself. Let's talk this card of MLW. Let's try to be as positive as possible. Well, we saw it. There was people there we recognized at times.
It was on. It came on at the right time. Yeah.
Yeah. We will be playing. Okay, it's a bit of a downer when they continue to put out a card that they say is going to happen, and then for no explanation really at all, one of the matches just completely changed on an advertised card, because we're talking about a show that is pre-taped. And I know for a fact they told us we were getting the MLW Featherweight Championship match, Taya Valkyrie defending against Trish Adora. And that is not what we got. We got Trish Adora. Glad we did. But no Taya Valkyrie at all on this one, Pop Smokes.
Yeah, also, I started to questioning my own sanity because I had been reading on Twitter about the match announcements and all that, and we had a Featherweights Championship match tonight. I was looking forward to it, thinking that's probably the main event, or perhaps the Jacob Fatu match, but still, we got to see one of the talents and another talent I'd never seen before.
Yeah, you bet. And speaking of talents, we got Andre, that Canada dude, joining us here tonight. Let's go, boys. Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes. We got another one there, too.
Hell yeah.
Bobby. Oh, we're rocking and rolling. Thanks for joining us. It's a good old time up in here. But, yeah, that opening match, we did get to see Trish Adora. And this was the first time I know I had seen her. I believe it was the same thing for you as well, too, Papa Smokes. And we also got someone else we weren't familiar with, and that's Gia Scott. And, you know, I got to say, a great debut for both these women in front of the MLW crowd. I'm not familiar with how long that they've been in the business, how much they've done around the world and stuff like that, but they looked sharp. They really stood out, the two of them. Gia, especially right off the hop, getting that big ass kick right off the, start of the matchup, really, cementing a name immediately, because again, could have just been another lost name. They seem to, have this interchangeable roster that happens all the time. And I don't know, Gia stood out right away in this one. But of course, Trish Adora would show off and shine as the match went on. But again, immediate thoughts with Gia on this one.
Yeah, I liked this match. It was pretty good. It was not a blisteringly, breathtakingly awesome or fast match or anything like that, but that was quite fine. I like the presentation of both these ladies. They had good gear. They have a cool look. Trish Adora's trunks and all that were just a cool color scheme and all that. Anyway, both looking good. And yeah, like you say, Gia Scott came out with that the first move of the match was just a giant kick to the face. Wow, that really started it off nicely, and I liked where this went. There was another cool that submission hold in the middle of it was quite cool. The reverse hanging tarantula something or other. I don't even know what that was.
I believe it's the Fubar submission.
Yeah, okay, that was the name, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And again, they said that they couldn't discuss on TV what Fubar stands for, but because we're the video bros, we'll tell you it means fucked up beyond all repair. And that was quite the submission from Trish Adora. As we are joined in the comment section in the chat, it's Mel Ball Collins. And yes, you can catch Mel Ball and Andre, the tag team of their own, here on our local establishment as they talk all things Japanese wrestling. And again, we're going to get a taste of the Japanese wrestling coming up here. Again, we got to see Ben K in the main event here tonight from Dragon Gate. We've got a lot of the crossover from Dragon Gate that's been happening recently. Going to be talking about that real soon. But again, for the more in-depth conversation when it comes to Japanese wrestling, definitely check out the work that both Mel and Andre bring to the table because they are the absolute experts in it. There we go. And New Japan, no, I think it's the Dragon Gate. That's the crossover MLW's got going for them anyways. But yeah, there is a lot of good things that go on in Japanese wrestling. That's for damn sure. And we're going to talk about that real soon. But back to this matchup in particular. There's a lot of great back and forth getting these two on display. Again, you're a gentleman and a saint, sir. Yeah, okay. I'll accept it. I'm more like a wolf in Jesus' skin, but you know.
Yeah, your birthday party the other night, you weren't exactly a saint, but we won't talk about that right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all sorts of trouble on Saturday night, wasn't I? Saints, who's that? Yeah, who is that? You got that. Oh, and okay. I've been corrected here by no, what they cover is New Japan. Yeah, you know, we were begging to have a good crowd here tonight. We've got an awesome crowd. I'm glad we got an interactive chat because, damn it, there is not lots to talk about when it comes to this episode of MLW. Yeah. This fell a little flat, but this match was nice. I wasn't sure at first when the commentary said it. They said the move Trish Adora used as her finisher is called the Lariat Tubman. And I was like, okay. And then they actually explained there is a nice story behind it. That actually it's an homage to her mother who worked at her late mother who worked at the Harriet Tubman Center, doing all sorts of great things for people. And again, so that it's more of an homage, the name and the move to her late mother. And again, I thought that was a nice touch. Glad that once again, commentary always gives us that backstory. They tell that story, just like Rich Bocchini told us when we interviewed him, about building that story so you get to know these people. And I feel we got to get to know both Trish Adora and Gia Scott through this thing. Trish Adora making a great debut with a victory. I could see big things for her, especially if she's going to stick around for a while with MLW.
Yeah, and the beauty of the name of her finisher, too, is that even without the explanation, that's an extremely funny pun and quite fitting. I thought that was hilarious and a good move. So if we didn't get our title match tonight, then at least we got a peek at Trish Adora, who looked pretty darn good in this match, as did Gia Scott. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with the tapings or how they're showing this or anything. But maybe they wanted to first put a match with Trish Adora to build her a little bit. But you know, that's never really stopped them before. They brought in other stars cold before without much build-up, so I'm at a loss as to what's going on, but I thought the match was pretty all right.
Yeah, me too. Again, I wish they would have just said this is what we were getting, because I would have been less disappointed in that aspect. If they would have said this is your match, this is going to be your opening match, fantastic, great. This was one of the stronger MLW featherweight not championship matches, but the featherweight division matchups that they have shown on Fusion in quite some time. This was solid. Looked like two people that had been in it for a while that could be towards the upper areas of MLW's featherweight division. These are two that I feel could contend with Taya. Definitely. The build is there for Trish Adora, definitely. And I could see Gia getting the opportunity down the road herself too.
Yeah, and I would say hold on to them if at all possible, because there's potential with both there. We know, I know of Trish Adora. I haven't watched much of her stuff, but I know she's been working the indies for the last few years, so she's getting her reps in, she's getting her practice in, and now it's time to do some shows with a larger company probably than she's used to, MLW, doing TV tapings in different cities and stuff. It's all part of the education of the professional wrestler.
Yeah, it really is. And again, a great display that we got to have tonight. I was glad to be able to see it. And as we give a shout out to Bam on Tap, who always comes in with those tabs there for us, keeping us in his thoughts. Fantastic, my man. Glad you're always able to stop by. So I want to say that we'd go to a backstage segment after this, but we didn't. We got another match. There was no kidding around here. I mean, this is definitely a wrestling show here tonight that we got from MLW, but what was this? This should have been the opener. I almost feel like, the ladies got the opener because it was the more interesting match and they didn't want to draw attention away right away, because I did not care for this next matchup. We got two brand new people. Let's go here for a moment. The wrestlers seem to be getting skinnier every week. Price is on the Billington weightlifting program. You need to come back each and every Thursday because it's comments like that we love here. Fantastic. I mean, it's true. We got TJ Crawford versus Alec Price in this matchup. This looked like you could see this matchup on any given low independent wrestling show around the world. Two guys getting in there back and forth. I do this move, you do that move, flip here, put our stamp on it. This is so cookie cutter of what you see on a regular basis that really neither one of these two particular guys stood out enough for me to say, I can't wait to see more of them, which is a shame because I'm not saying they don't have talent. Again, they were laying stuff in that requires talent, but I think that they're still very young. They're still very new, as our good friend B. Carter Emick. I don't know how to say that. I'm sure I'm screwing that up. I'll fuck everything up. I usually do. But Price on the Billington weightlifting program. Again, even the Billington brothers, like we mentioned it before, again, they got a little creatine, a little bit of time in the gym. They'll get there. I mean, these are young men. They got time to build.
Yeah, for sure. And no, I'm with you on this match. I was just completely baffled when the first guy came out. Now that TJ Crawford, to me, kind of looks like maybe he could be something. He's got a build on him. He's been lifting some weights and stuff. He's got the haircuts and he looked like he could be something. But I still thought, well, why is the job guy getting the entrance with music and everything? Then the next guy came out and he looks way more like a job guy than TJ Crawford. And he had those really crappy trunks that look like they've been washed about 1 million times. And he's got the drawstring hanging out the front. And it was just kind of like, what's going on here? What was the other guy's name, Munson? Alec Price. Hey?
Alec Price.
Yeah.
Price.
So they start the match right into spots, like right into big spots. No lockup, no headlock, no running the ropes, no nothing. Just all of a sudden into flips and monkey flips and wheelbarrow lifts into back flips. And my God, this was just a goddamn mess. And it was just, the thing about it is I even wrote that in my notes. It looks like a barroom match. Like it looks like this is what you get on your crappiest indie card. This is what the guys do. They're the most skilled guys on the barroom card. And I mean, I'm not trying to mock these guys or anything like that. I just think this was an oddly placed match on this TV show. There's nothing wrong with what those guys were doing, and they were okay at what they did. And I just find it so extremely odd that there's going to be no angle apparently out of this or anything like that. What was this match? And the other kicker of the thing is that the guy that looked better lost the match.
Yeah.
The Crawford lost the match. TJ Crawford lost the match. And it was just kind of like, so the really skinny guy that has the horrible looking trunks and everything wins the match. I'm just baffled by this, and I don't know if they're taking up space on the show or if they actually intend to push one of these guys at some point. It's baffling to me.
Like, bring back Robert Martyr. I said it while we were watching this match. I'm like, you're going to spring for these guys and you're not going to get Martyr back? At least Martyr deep down is a true wrestler, and we get some wrestling out of the guy. As B. Carter coming in saying it was garbage. I mean, we're trying to be as nice as possible because we have a lot of people that we've met and talked to that work for MLW. And quite personally, if Court Bauer reached out and wanted me to help with that editing problem that apparently they have that he doesn't answer my emails on. I don't want to screw that up, but yeah, this was not good. It really wasn't. It didn't belong. It fell out of place. It was very disjointed, and I don't really have much more to say. I don't see these guys taking off much in MLW until they go get some more time in and work with some people that can ground them and teach them exactly what to be doing.
Yeah, and it's never my intention to hurt on the boys, the grapplers themselves. Like, it's nothing's their fault. They're at their point in their careers and all that stuff. This match was just fine for where they're at, kind of thing. It ain't their fault. I'm not sure what MLW's thinking, putting this one as the middle match on one of their episodes of Fusion. But if that's a preliminary match live in the tapings, that's all fine and dandy. I just don't know why they're putting it on their show.
Yeah, exactly. It just felt unnecessary. So from there, we're thinking, like, this is normally the part in the show where we get some segments backstage, things to move some of the feuds and the stories forward. We didn't get that. It seems like, I don't know, maybe MLW Insider with Alicia Atout wasn't quite getting the hits that they were wanting it to get. So they put it on this episode of MLW Fusion. We got a whole middle of the episode dedicated to MLW Insider with Alicia Atout. First getting a little bit of a background into what's going on with Cesar Duran and the rise of Azteca Underground. Seems to be that now, even though Court Bauer took away as being a matchmaker, that there seems to be some sort of level footing, some sort of business acumen. Anyway, something going on between Court and good old Cesar Duran there. What's going to happen when it's all going to unfold? Who knows? I can tell your excitement level is probably about where mine is to find out if there's any sort of Azteca Underground rebirth coming.
Yeah, and like I say, I don't mind the Cesar Duran. I think he's a good performer and a good promo and all that stuff. And the other good part about Azteca is that we get to see a nice constant parade of different luchadors. I like that part. That's cool. But as far as it being an angle and all that, I expected the big payoff from the Cesar Duran's dirty business kind of angle to be 6 months ago or a year ago, even when Salino De Laurento was still here. Like, that's when they had some secret footage of him and this and that, and Microman was listening in on his phone calls and everything. Like, I expected the payoff from this so much longer ago, and then he kind of went off the show, and then we had this whole break all summer, and now I can't remember what was happening before, and it's a little bit messy, but okay, we'll see what happens with Cesar Duran again.
Like, again, we mentioned it last week. If he's just going to be a corner man or something like that, there's no problem there because, like you said, he's a good performer and everything. But I think they mentioned something about an actual event coming up. Yeah, they did mention this, or exactly. B. Carter, they advertised an upcoming event in Tijuana. And I believe they did even mention, Alicia mentioned that this was going to be some sort of Azteca Rising. I believe the word Azteca Rising Supercard is what the actual reference was. So I guess, again, if they a good lucha card and don't get too heavy into the storyline with the backstage segments with Cesar in his office and the stuff that was going on in the previous season, I mean, like you said, all for it. I mean, they had some great people out there. Again, Octagon Jr. Where the fuck is Octagon Jr.? Bring Octagon Jr. back, Court Bauer.
That was one of the luchadors I personally like the best. It's hard for me to tell them all apart sometimes, but especially while wearing masks. But Octagon Jr., and then we've got Lindsay Dorado and a whole bunch of good talents that have come through here, and it's just fun. It's a constant parade of different talent, and I'm all down for it. Munson, do you remember the last time they did a taping in Tijuana? We were trying to figure out what the venue was because it was in the daytime and it was outdoors.
Yeah.
And there were those towers and those windows and big blank walls and stuff. And we were thinking, what is this? Like, this isn't an auditorium or a sporting thing. It was a jail, wasn't it? It was an old empty jail. And they were in the middle courtyard or exercise yard where they had the ring set up, and there was just some kind of wrestlers and other guys standing around. Like, that was such a weird venue for that taping like a year or two ago.
Well, they should have had all bets on that night too. That would have been funny if everybody in the audience was flashing bills around and making bets on the wrestling fights. Fantastic. What a touch that would have been. But yeah, it was an odd look, but hey, it was different. They at least try different things. I mean, you got to give them that. They don't go for the same mundane thing all the time.
It honestly looked pretty cool. I was just trying to figure out what the kind of a venue is this, and then that's a jail, man. I'm pretty sure that's an old jail.
It was something to behold. But up next, Alicia ended up giving us a update with the Nduka Hammerstone fight that was supposed to be, that never was. Will it ever? Rumors are flying all over the place. People keep saying that certain people aren't even with MLW, haven't shown up to MLW. Who's still at MLW? I'm really not too sure at this point, Papa Smokes. Again, it's all speculation to me until I see any official things from MLW, like we did with the Myron Reed one, just earlier this week. I don't want to make speculations, but again, a lot of rumors about, companies interested in the Judge EJ and Duca. Will we ever get to see this match with Hammerstone? They're saying, yeah, it's back on, but we ain't telling you when. All right.
Yeah. And Alicia suggested in her segment that more information might be on the website in the next 24 hours. So I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with the whole timeline. We know all this stuff is taped from months ago in previous, so I don't know why there's problems with the scheduling of it now. But hopefully we get this sorted out at some point.
And we got Ed Fries joining us here. Hey, brothers, hope you're having a good stream.
Hey,
we'll be checking it out. VOD. Watching Impact just in case need to help out Astrid today. And again, you'll be able to catch that over at Astrid's Twitch channel. Head on over there after we're done over here, and you can check out Making an Impact, all the greatest in Impact Wrestling coverage. And it sounds like she might have a good guy in OLED joining her over there tonight. Ed, thanks for stopping in. Do we care anymore? They moved on to Hammer versus Fatu. Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. I mean, it was a nice build they were doing for the Judge. Like, he was starting to rock and roll there. We're starting to get interested in it. So I mean, it's a shame, but again, it's Fatu. I mean, you said it all right there. I mean, it's Fatu, and we're going to be talking heavily about him shortly here. But you can't go wrong.
No, as they said during this broadcast, it's the biggest title match and biggest match in MLW history was Hammerstone Fatu 1, I guess we better call it now. And but yeah, just like our listener said, do we care now? Because this was going to be a good match. I was looking forward to this showdown, and I've never been completely sold on Nduka. I wasn't sure, but he was selling me on the build during the build up to this match with some really good promo work. And I was starting to get quite invested in this, so I was excited to see it. And yeah, I'm a little jazzed at how it's just not really come about. And I don't know what to think. And then, yeah, they've already got the next title defense slated for Hammerstone. So what are we to think now? Is this Nduka thing ever going to happen? Has it happened and they're not showing it for some legal reason? I don't know.
Yeah, and I want to start touching on something that we talked about during the show, but we'll get to that in a minute because it came at the end of the particular episode. So I'm going to commit it to memory. We're going to talk about it soon. But another weird part is on this MLW Insider, they brought up the attacks by the mysterious attacker, that was leaving the cards behind. We haven't seen this in 4-5 weeks. It was well before the Christmas break. Definitely that the last attack happened. They've made no mention of it since, hardly. It's almost like it just disappeared altogether. And then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, remember some guy annihilated the entire roster one night.
Yeah, there's more mysteries. Again, as we know from working with a wrestling company, booking's difficult. There's lots of challenges. It's not just writing the stuff. It's like everyone has to be on board. Everyone has to show up for it. Everyone has to do their part as well. So it's an imperfect science at the best of times. So I'm willing to cut them some slack, but now this is happening throughout the show, so I'm a little bit concerned. There's a couple of problems, including this mystery attacker angle that's just kind of being left to dry out in the breeze, and they're still trying to bring it up. So you know that it's got to be kind of a upper card event that's going to happen, right? It's not preliminary shit. It's not mid card. They keep bringing it up. At least bringing it up. We don't get any resolution, but they keep reminding us that we don't know. So I'm assuming it's going to be a major angle. But again, what the hell's going on? We've all been speculating, but I have the feeling it's something none of us expect.
You know, we probably don't expect it because the only one we haven't seen that got leveled out by the mystery attacker so far is Microman. They're going to reveal Microman's been using his mighty superpowers to take all these guys out all this time. It almost feels like this is sadly the kind of direction they might go pull.
Jesus, I never would have thought of that. I hope not, but we'll see.
Please don't listen to me. That's a bad fucking idea. Please don't do that at all. With all due respect to Microman, Jesus Christ, don't do that. But yeah, I'm going to still give this effort, despite the fact that this was a very not great episode of MLW. But it's time for the main event of the evening. This match is scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
All right, we got our main event, Papa Smokes. It is Ben K making his debut, coming from Dragon Gate to take on Jacob Fatu. And there we go, one fall. You bet there. B. Carter, thank you for being here tonight. Awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. But yeah, this is where business picks up a little bit, because how could it not? You got Jacob Fatu. The second the guy walks into an arena, God damn, this guy is one of the best talents out there in professional wrestling today. From his look, from the way he conducts himself, from the way he wrestles, from the way he talks. Everything about Jacob Fatu is awesome. But we did see a little misstep in this match in particular, something that's kind of rare from Fatu. And we'll talk about that in a minute as well, too. But first impressions, Ben K, as he came out to the ring.
Well, I had watched at least a series of clips of him before this, or a couple weeks ago when they announced that he was coming, because I was curious. And I thought, yeah, this guy looks pretty all right. He's not a huge guy, but he's got some muscle. He's got some strength and stuff. He delivers a lot of his power moves with some snap and some velocity, kind of. So some of those Japanese clips, I thought he looked pretty all right. When he came out to the ring tonight, he looked, he had a series of giant gold rope chains on and sunglasses. So I'm not, he's got some kind of a cool guy gimmick type thing. And then, yeah, he was dancing around and stuff. I'm not sure what he's got going on for his gimmick, but it clashed with Jacob Fatu when he came out, because he's got the straight ahead, the war drums and everything, and the ceremonial skirt and all that. You know he's coming for business, and that always gets the blood of the opponent running ice cold for sure.
Yeah, it sure does. And again, he had cool new pants on tonight. Those snazzy purple pieces that he had going throughout it. Man, that's set out like a sore thumb. Jacob Fatu looking like $1 million out there.
For sure. And so
then,
once this... Oh, go ahead, Munson.
No. You're good. Rock and roll.
I was just thinking about the match. Ben K was still trying to do some power stuff even against Fatu and doing a decent job of that. I would say that was probably the best part of his match. The tail of the tape had him listed at 5'9", 180 or something like that. So he's not that big of a guy, but he had a couple spots where he lifted Fatu, who's 300 or more, and lifting him on his back and walked around with him on his back. So the guy's a powerhouse, this Ben K, and he was putting that on display in this match for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely impressed, and I've been impressed pretty much overall with everybody that's come over from Dragon Gate so far. This has been quite a nice combination that Court is linked up with. I know we've had the link with AAA before, which has been awesome, but definitely really digging what they got going on that side of the fence. Yeah, I like Ben K. I think the Ben K did a nice job in this matchup. He's a tough guy. He stands in there. He gave Fatu one hell of a fight. A lot of back and forth in this thing. But again, Fatu is just on another level altogether, the way he's connecting with the crowd now and everything like that too. I said it to you while we're watching this. Is this going to be the first time since winning the championship the Hammer walks out there not the fan favorite?
Oh, interesting, because they are both babyface on the babyface side of things, and the fans really, really like Fatu a lot because he's kind of like an everyman. You know, everybody can relate to him. He's a cool guy, and you want to get to know the cool guy. Hammerstone's more of a as they say, the white meat babyface, where he's like a patriot and he eats his vitamins and says his prayers and all that kind of stuff. So they're two different types of baby face. And I don't know. I think you might have something there. Hammerstone is very, very popular, but so is Fatu in a different way.
Yeah, it's going to be great when that one goes down. And I also mentioned, because we're just going to get to the meat of the matter, Fatu ends up picking up a nice victory afterwards, pays tribute to Ben K, says he's one of the toughest sons of bitches he ever stepped in the ring with. So they gave, a nice little applause there and everything like that. Then from there, he's saying that him and the Samoan SWAT team are coming for all the gold. And that's when he looks at Hammer and saying, February 4th, I'm coming for you. Does it feel like they fast forwarded a bit of Fusion here? Like, it almost seems like there was some matches announced that haven't shown along this season so far. And it almost seems like maybe, just maybe, Court Bauer's trying to catch up to real time, as in, is there possibly something else in place? Could they be going to a more non-taped format down the road? Is there something that's going to align? I don't know. I'm really confused because it really seems something's a little disjointed as of late.
Well, I like your theory, Munson. That's a good one. I hadn't thought about it that way, because there are always problems of continuity that you and I have noticed watching these things. Stuff is taped as far as 3 months before. So we're trying not to hear what's happening on the internet because we don't want to get it spoiled when we watch it, and we want to have legitimate reactions to it when we do our reviews and stuff. And it's difficult in that way. And I think that if he is trying to fast forward things and bring it up to date, there undoubtedly will be a couple of problems of continuity. That's just the way it's going to go.
Yeah, and B. Carter, Fatu has been handing out respect to the crowd and other wrestlers. He isn't seeming to be playing the heel, which is setting up an odd match with Hammer. And yeah, that's the thing, because he's connecting in doing so. It's not like this is something where those fans, like when he said about how he was going to stomp all over Hammerstone and get that championship match or championship back. And he said, and if you're with me, Fa, and the crowd started going too. So this crowd is firmly on board with Fatu getting the victory over Alexander Hammerstone and taking that championship away from him. So like B. Carter is saying, it does set up a very odd dynamic where your clean-cut babyface, who's been running amok over all the heels in his past so far, is now going to collide with a guy who isn't exactly a clean-cut babyface. We can't say that Fatu is your standard clean-cut guy in the gym babyface. This is kind of the anti-hero type of babyface that came along more, not modernly, but definitely a lot later in the times of pro wrestling.
For sure. And sometimes the babyface or heel thing is just determined by who your feud is against also, right? Like there have been a lot of heels in the past that never changed anything about how they wrestled. It was just how they were booked in their opponents and how the fans would cheer them to beat up heels kind of thing. That's almost what's going on with Fatu as well. And they've let us in a little bit, like since the ending of the Contra unit angle, they've had Fatu shown as more of a human or more of a dude. You get to see him outside of the ring with a couple of those personality profiles, and then him hanging out with the Samoan SWAT team and stuff. You get to see him as a guy, and you realize he's funny, he's a hustler, he's a cool guy, he's a streets guy and all that. He's smoking some weed all the time and everything. He's someone that we all know and someone that we all like, and that's that's what bonds fans with wrestlers sometimes. Just the same thing as the Dusty Rhodes as a babyface. He was the working man's hero. He looked like a tow truck driver that was playing softball on the weekends. It's a guy you can relate to. It's a guy you already know and you already like.
Exactly. Well, that pretty much does it for the entire episode of MLW Fusion anyway. I mean, it was something, but again, like they've been announcing matchups every week, and we didn't get that. I didn't see any announcement. Again, B. Carter, you obviously watched right along, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Any announcements as to what's going to be on Fusion next week, or are we in the dark on that one as of right now? I guess we'll see. Again, we'll have to do some digging into it, Pop Smokes, to see what we got teed up for next week here on the show. But in the meantime and in between time, as one of the greatest commentators ever coined, Papa Smokes, where can the lovely people find you in the upcoming weeks?
All right, everybody. I'm on Elon Musk's free speech wonderland and theme park known as Twitter. I'm at smokes_papa. And on Twitch, I'm at papa_smokes_. That's hard doing that every week. So many underscores.
Yeah, we are the Video Bros. You can catch us Saturday afternoons on Prairie Pro Wrestling right on YouTube. We have a new match coming out each and every week. You can catch me Sundays with Chris Parrish. I'm busting out my brunch buster brother as we wrap up the week in professional wrestling. Wednesdays with Beats and Beatdowns. So I have myself and Carl Carafel talking about the influence of wrestling and music on each other. But yeah, we got all that going on. And again, a new episode of Fusion coming up next week. Thank you very much to everybody who joined in on the show. B. Carter for being here and talking throughout. Excellent. Absolutely love that. Hope you're going to keep coming back and joining us for the fun. You know what? If you think our energy is big on a Thursday night, we're going to be sending you guys over right now to Heel Kevin. Give him a good Olay welcome, because this guy's energy is completely unmatched when it comes to Thursday nights. Head on over there and say hello to our good friend, Heel Kevin. And if you're joining us on YouTube, thank you for joining in. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, do all those nice things. We appreciate you guys. We're out for now, but we'll see you next Thursday. Take care out there.